Hi everyone, a very good morning to one and all, and a warm welcome to the next session in Java programming. I'm with Dinesh Babu from the Department of CSC. In today's session, we are going to see about the topics iterational statements. In the previous session, we have covered conditional statements. So as it is said earlier, control statements in Java are divided into three categories: conditional statements, iterational statements, and jump statements. Till now, we have completed up to conditional statements. So in today's class, we will discuss about iterational statements. So before going to the today's session, so let us have a brief look at what the things we have learned in the previous session. So in the previous session, we learned about conditional statements. So which part of program will be executed depends upon the type of condition. If the condition is true, we go by executing one part of the program, and in case the condition is false, we go by executing the other part of the program. So under conditional statements in Java, we have simple if else, cascading if, nested if, and switch case. Among all these things, switch case is called as multi-way selection, and if else is called as two-way selection. In case of if and else, if the condition is true, we will execute the if block, and in case if the condition is false, we will execute the else block. But in case of switch case, we have multiple number of options. We have already seen in the last session how that switch case can be written in a program and how we can make use of that switch case, right? So in today's session, we will start with iterational statements. As it is said earlier, iterational statements, one second. Right. The other name for these iterational statements are looping statements, or we can also call them as loops in Java programming language. So loops are used to execute set of instructions or functions repeatedly when some condition becomes true. So if there is some part of code, and if we want to execute the same part of code for n number of times, we can make use of these iterational statements or looping statements. So there we will have one condition. Based upon that condition, we will execute a particular part of code multiple number of times. So I will show how we can execute that part of code multiple number of times in the programs. So before going to the programs, let us see what are the different things that are supported in iterational statements. So there are three types of iterational statements, or there are three types of looping statements in Java: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Right. So let us have a look at each and every type of loop, theory part, the flow chart, and then one example program on each and everything. Right. So among these two, this one while loop is called as pre-test iteration loop. It is called as pre-test iteration loop. Pre-test in the sense we will first check the condition. In case if the condition is true only, then the loop will be executed. And this one, especially the do while loop, it is called as post-test iteration loop. It is called as post-test iteration loop. So because we first execute a block and then we go for checking the condition. So in case if the condition is false, that block will not be executed one more time. So independent to the condition, each and every block will execute at least once when we use do while loop. So I will show all these things in the program, don't worry. So let us move to the next slide, right? Keep these couple of points in your mind. So if we want to execute some part of code multiple number of times, we go for looping statements. The looping statements are also called as iterational statements. So for, while, and do while are the examples of the types of iterational statements, right? So let us move to the next slide. The three different loops are explained here. First one, for loop. The Java for loop is used to iterate a part of a program several times. Not only for loop, while loop or do while loop, all these three things are used to iterate some part of the program several times. Iterate in the sense executing some part of code multiple number of times is called as iteration. If the number of iteration is fixed, it is recommended to use for loop. So if we know how many number of times we want to execute that code, then it is better to go for loop. For example, there is a statement called as system.out.println ECE. That means ECE will be printed on the output screen, right? So we want to print ECE for 10 times. So we have to execute the same statement system.out.println of ECE for 10 times. It will print ECE 10 times on the screen. So at that time, we know how many number of times we want to print or we want to execute the same code. So during that point of time, for loop is recommended, right? So next one, while loop. The Java while loop is used to iterate a part of program several times. The point is common in all these three, right? So if the number of iteration is not fixed, it is recommended to use while loop. So we don't know how many number of times we want to print ECE. At that particular point of time, we can go for while loop and then do while loop. So the Java do while loop is also used to iterate a part of a program several times. Use it if the number of iteration is not fixed, and you must have to execute the loop at least once. So there may be some situations I want to print ECE at least one time, and if anyone is interesting, they can print it any number of times. During that point of time, I can use do while loop. So when we use do while loop, that loop will be executed at least once, independent to the condition. If the condition is true or false, whatever it may be, if we use do while loop means it will be executed at least once. Let us move to the next slide. A simple for loop is the same as a C or C++. So in the C programming language also we have for loops, and C++ also we have for loop. So similar to C and C++ for loops, Java is also having the same syntax for the for loop. So we can initialize the variable, check the condition, and increment or decrement value, right? So these are divided into 4 parts, right? So for loop will have mainly 3 parts, mainly 3. Fourth one is the body of the for loop. The main 3 parts are initialization, condition checking, increment or decrementing the value. So let us do what is initialization. So it is the initial condition which is executed once when the loop starts. So during the starting point of the loop, it will be executed. Here we can initialize the variable, or we can use an already initialized variable. It is an optional condition. So we may have a variable with some value, or we may have a variable which is already having some value. So that is the initialization part. Coming to the next one, condition part. It is the second condition which is executed each time to test the condition of the loop. So if the code is executed for one time, again it will check the condition. If the condition is true, the code will be executed again, and again it will check the condition. Till the condition becomes false, the code will be executed. So it is a second condition which will be executed each and every time the test condition of the loop. It continues execution until the condition is false. It must return Boolean value either true or false. It is an optional condition. And the third one, statement in the sense the body of the for loop. And the fourth one is increment or decrement. It increments or decrements the variable value. It is also an optional part, right? So here I want to, before going to see this one, so let us see this slide, and after that I will explain how this for loop can be executed, and what is the initialization part, what is the condition part, and what is the statement part, and what is increment or decrement part. Okay. So it is a simple for loop flowchart diagram on the LHS side. So here we have the first part is initialization. For each and every for loop, initialization will be done first, right? Initialization will be done first, and then followed by, after initialization, we will check the condition, right? If the condition is true, we will execute the statements, right? And after executing the statements, we again increment or decrement. After incrementing and decrementing, we check the condition again, and if it is true, it will go to statements again, and that after executing the statement, it will increment or decrement. Again, we will check the condition. This will repeat. This cycle will repeat: condition, statement, increment or decrement. Condition, statement, increment or decrement. The cycle will repeat until we get some false condition. We get some. If the condition until the condition is false, the same cycle will be repeated. Okay, so now I will show how we can use this for loop by using a diagram, right? So let us move to the programming window, right? Let us move to the program window and see this how this for loop can be used and what is the syntax of the for loop in this program. We all are familiar with this one, right? We all are very familiar with this for loop, how we can use it uh, in C programming language. The similar, it is very similar in C++ also. Not similar, almost similar. Right? Let us take a new Java window. I'm using. I'm sorry. Right here, I'm defining this one as FL. So my class name is FL, and inside that class, I have the main method public static void main string args. Right now, what I want to do is I'm defining a variable. Right, I'm defining a variable whose value is 1. So int a equal to 1. So a is an integer variable which is having the value of 1. Now I am using the for loop, right? For loop. Inside the for loop, as I said earlier, there are total there are 4 parts. Among those 4 parts, there are 3 parts which are very not all the 4 parts are important. Don't think like that. The 4 parts are: first one, initialization. So initialization means, for example, here I have just declared a variable integer a, and there is nothing in that variable a. So I will start with some value. So it is called as initialization. Keeping some value into the variable is called as initialization. And then we have to separate each and every part with a semicolon. So initialization, and then we will have one condition. We will have one condition. After giving the condition, we will increment or decrement the value depending upon our need. We all know increment operator and decrement operator, right? So the first one is a equal to 1 is called as initialization, and then a less than 10 is called as condition checking, and a plus plus is called as increment. So after these 3 things, we have to write something inside the body. It is not a mandate. If we need, we have to write. For example, I want to print ECE for 10 times. So I can write system dot out dot print ln. Right? I want to print ECE for 10 times. So I have written this statement which will print ECE. Right? Now what will happen? Let us see what will happen here. Right? I will show you. I'm highlighting this for loop. Now let us see, right? First thing, I will show it by drawing something. First, this part will execute it first. So inside the for loop, first this part will be executed. So that part is called as initialization. So after initialization, condition checking will be done, right? Condition checking will be done. So in case if the condition is true, right? In case if the condition is true, it will execute the statement. That means it will execute the body of the for loop, right? If in case if the condition is false, right? In case if the condition is false, it will just execute the remaining statements of the program without executing the body of the for loop. So initialization will be done first, followed by conditional checking will be done. In case if the condition is true, then it will execute the body of the for loop, right? So if, in case if the condition is false, it will not execute this body of the for loop, right? So what happens after executing the body of the for loop? Again, increment will be done. Not only increment, in this program increment will be done, right? So initialization is the first one, right? Initialization is the first one. I'm sorry, I'm unable to do this one, right? Initialization is the first one, followed by condition checking, and then followed by execution of statement. One second. Right? Initialization and then condition checking, followed by execution of the statement in case of condition is true, and then we will increment or decrement the things. So this one will be number 1, and condition checking will be number 2, statement will be number 3, increment or decrement will be number 4. After increment and decrement, again it will check the condition, right? Please observe first one, initialization. After initialization, it will check the condition, which is the second one. If the condition is true, this will be the third one. That means it will execute the, this is the, from this particular point, it is the body of the for loop. In case the condition is true, it will execute the body of the for loop, right? And then we execute the body of the for loop, and then increment will be done. So this is the way how this for loop will be executed. So now I am clearing all these drawings, and let us see the output of this particular code. So where we have the name as FL. So let us save the program. With the name fl.java, fl.java, and then let us compile the code. So there are no errors in this code, and now let us run the code. One second. So think one second. Let's use capital L, fl.java. Let us save the code. Now just compile the code. So there are no errors. Now run the code. So if you observe, ECE has been printed for 10 times. And if the same, if I want to print it for 30 times, just I can change the value 10 to 30 so that it will print ECE for 30 number of times. So this is how we can execute the same part of code again and again by using the concept called as iteration. And this is one of the example of iteration. Here we use the for loop in order to execute the same statement, that is system.out.println of ECE for 10 or 30 times. Now, for example, if I want to print the numbers, if I want to print the numbers from 1 to 30 by changing ECE with A. A means here the value of A will be from 1 and it will be up to 30. So the numbers will be printed here. So you can check these things. You can check now whether this will work or not. If you observe the thing, the numbers from 1 to 29 are printed. 1 to 29 are printed because the condition was less than 30. In case if the condition is less than or equal to 30, then it will print the value 30 also. So this is how the for loop will work. So we can have this for loop in any of the programs if we have any need, right? So let us move to the PPT and let us see the next slide. So this is the slide where we have went to the programming window. Now the second one is nested for loop. So nested for loop in the sense, if we have one for loop inside another for loop, then it is called as nested for loop, right? Next one. In Java, let us discuss about while loop here. In Java, while loop is used to iterate a part of a program several times. It is if the number of iterations is not fixed, we recommend this while loop. This one we have already studied in the previous slide. So the following is the syntax of the while loop. We have while keyword, and within the braces after the while keyword we have one condition, and after the condition we will have a block with some open braces and closed braces, and inside that block we will write some code which is to be executed when the condition of while is true, right? So let us see the flowchart here. So we will check the condition first. In case the condition is true, we will execute the statement, and again we will check the condition, right? So this cycle will get repeat until and unless the condition gets false. If the condition is false, we just move out of the loop, right? So let us write the same program of printing the numbers from 1 to 30 by using the while loop here. So here we have used a for loop in order to print the numbers from 1 to 30. So let us use while loop for the same thing, right? So let us update this one. If we want to use the while loop in the program, we have to use while keyword followed by, we need to have one condition here. For example, a less than 30 is the condition, right? And initially I'm going to assign a value 1 to A. So A will start with 1, right? A will start with 1, and in case of A less than 1, sorry, A less than 30, it will print the value of A, and here I am going to increment the value of A by 1. So now what will happen in case of this while loop is, first A will be initialized to 1 first, and then we check this particular condition, right? If it is true, it will execute these two statements. In case of true, it will execute these two statements. After executing these two statements, that is system.out.println of A and A++, again it will check the condition, right? So value is initialized first, and then it will check, the while loop will check the condition. In case the condition is true, it will print the value. After printing the value, the A value will get incremented. Initially the A value is 1, now A value will become 2, and after incrementing the A value, again it will check the condition. So 2 less than 30, again the condition is true. So the condition is true. So again, it will print the value of 2. And now A will become 3. 3 less than 30. Again, the condition is true. And it will print 3. And 3 will become 4. And 4 less than 30. Again, the condition is true. And it will print 4. And A will be incremented by 1. That means A will become 5. And 6, 7, 8, 9, up to A will become 30. 30 less than 30. So 30 less than 30 in the sense the condition is false. In case the condition is false, it will not enter into the body of the while loop. It will just execute the code after it will just execute the while loop, right? So first condition checking will be done. It will be the first inside while loop be done. If the condition is true, right, the body will be executed first, right? After the body, again the condition checking will be done. If it is true, again it will execute body. So in case if the condition is false, it will be executed. Number 3 will be executed, right? I hope you all have done some of the examples on while loop in the previous C programming language, right? So I'm saving this code. I'm compiling this code by one second. I'm saving this code by pressing on Control S, compiling this code by pressing on Control 1, and now I am running this code. So if you observe, it has printed the numbers from 1 to 29, right? So for example, I want to print all the numbers, all even numbers between 1 to 30, right? Between 1 to 30. So for this, I can use I want to print all the even numbers between 1 to 30. So this while loop will start with 1 and ends at 30. And inside this while loop, if I write a condition, what is my condition here? If A percentage 2 equal to 0. In case if A percentage 2 equal to 0, right, then only it has to print the number over the output screen, right? And then a value will get incremented, right? Just by inserting this statement, we will get only even numbers between 1 to 30 as an output of this particular program. So saving this code by pressing on Control S, compiling this code by pressing on Control 1, and now I am running this program by pressing on Control 2. So if you observe the output, we got the numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and so on 30. So we got only the even numbers between 1 to 30, right? So this is if is a conditional statement. We have already studied in the previous session how if can be used in the program, what is the syntax of if, what is the flowchart of if, and how the if behaves in the program. We have already studied in the previous session. The people who don't understand how this if condition will work in the program, please watch the previous session, and there you can have some clarity regarding this if condition. Okay, right? So in the same program, if I want to print all the odd numbers, right? So I can just change a percentage 2 equal to 0 with a percentage 2 not equal to 0. So in case if a percentage 2 not equal to 0, then only it will print the number. What is a percentage 2? We are trying to divide the value of a with 2. In case if the remainder is 0, that means it is an even number. If the remainder is not equal to 0, that means it is an odd number, right? So let us save the code, compile the code, and then run the code. You can observe here, we got only all the odd numbers between 1 to 30. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and so on. 29 will be the output of this particular code, right? This is how we can make use of while loop and for loop, right? So let us have a look at the next iterational statement, that is do while loop, right? Do while loop. As it is said earlier, it is also used to execute a path of code for several number of times. If the number of iteration is not fixed, and you must have to execute the loop at least once. So you may have certain situations where you have to execute the loop at least once. In such type of situations, you can use this do while loop. So the Java do while loop is executed at least once because the condition is checked after the loop body. So as I explained about a pre-test iteration and post-test iteration couple of slides ago. Pre-test iteration means condition will be checked first, followed by loop, followed by body. Post-test iteration means body will be executed first and then we check the condition. So while loop is the pre-test iteration loop. While loop is the pre-test iteration loop, whereas do while loop is the post-test iteration loop. So let us see the syntax here. We have a keyword called as do, and there will be some body to be executed. After the do, we have a while condition. While keyword followed by condition ended with a semicolon. So let us look at the flowchart here. So first we execute the statements and then we check the condition. So if the condition is true, again we execute the statements. If the condition is false, we just come out of the loop. So first one, we execute the statements irrespective of the condition. You may have any condition. We execute the statement for one time and then we check the condition, right? If the condition is true, we will again execute the statement, right? So this is how this do while loop will behave in the program, right? So let us have a look at the programming window. Let us move to the programming window and then let us write some code related to do while loop. So if the same program has been written by using do while loop, right? We will replace it with do, right? We will replace it with do, and then we use the while keyword here. We use the while keyword, and within the while, we will have some condition. For example, in the earlier we have taken a less than or equal to 30. Sorry, a less than or equal to 30. So we can have the same condition here, right? So now you can observe what will be the output of this code. Just save the code. I just keep the output of the, so just save the code. Now press on control 1, it will compile the program. Press on control 2, it will run the program, right? So you can observe we got the same output as it is from the previous code. So it will print all the odd numbers from 1 to 29 here. So let us do one thing here. In order to understand how this while loop and how this do while loop will behave, right? Let us write two things. Let us write two things here. Let us use while loop first. While a, right? While a greater than 1, right? While a greater than 1. Now I want to print system dot out dot print ln. System dot out dot print ln. I want to print ECE on the output screen when the value of a is greater than 1, right? Now I am using do while loop. So inside the do while loop, right? Inside the do, I want to print something called as CSC. CSC here. I want to print CSC, right? So I am taking the same condition here. I am not changing the condition. My condition is a greater than 1. So if you observe, the value of a is 1, right? The value of a is 1. So if you try to uh, find whether the condition is true or not, the condition will be false, because here 1 is not greater than 1. 1 is equal to 1. So while a greater than 1 means we are trying to check whether 1 is greater than 1 or not. So let us observe the output, whether it will print ECE, not ECE, and in case in do while loop I want to print CSC. In while loop I want to print ECE, where in do while loop and while loop I am using the same condition. So let us save this code and compile the code and run the code and see the output. So if you see the output, it has printed CSC, right? It does not print ECE. So ECE be printed checking the condition. CSC will be printed first and then condition will be checked. So if you observe, I will make some writings over the screen. So first condition will be checking will be done. In case the condition is true only, it will print ECE. Here, first printing of CSC will be done and then it will check the condition, right? It will check the condition. It is the second one here. First CSC will be printed and then condition will be checked. That's why it is called as post-test iteration loop. It is called as post-test iteration. Post-test iteration means CSC. That means this body will be executed first. This body will be executed first and then we check this particular condition. So here condition will be checked first and then if the condition is true only, it will execute this particular body. That means it is a pre-test iteration loop. Pre-test iteration. That's why we have one point over the PPT. If you observe the PPT, we have one point here. What the point says is, you can observe here. Let us move to the previous slide. Here you can see in, please observe these 2 points, right? In Java do-while loop, do-while loop is executed, is observe these 2 points. Loop executed at least once because the condition is checked after the loop body. So that's what happened in this code. So the body is executed first. Because of the body is executed first only, because of the body is executed first, it was printed CSC and then it checked the condition. The condition is 1 greater than 1. It is false. That's why it just went away from the do-while loop. So this is how while and do-while loop will behave in the program, right? So now let us see the next one. Break and continue, right? So I will show the usage of break and continue in the next class. So with this, I am going to close for today's session, right? In today's session, till now we have discussed about mainly 3 things, right? The 3 things are different types of iteration statements. So the other name for iteration statements is called looping statements. So while, do while, and for are the 3 looping statements in Java. So looping in the sense, or iteration in the sense, executing the same part of code again and again. So we select some part of code and we executed the code repeated number of times. So here, in some situations, we need to print something for n number of times. So for printing something n number of times, we have to write system.out.println, system.out.println, system.out.println for n number of times. If we don't have iterational statements. So if we have iterational statements, we can replace all the code with a single line and we can have one while or do while or for loop that will print the things for any number of times we want, right? Hope you all enjoy the session. And if you have any doubts regarding this session, please make a comment here. And I really thank each and every listener of this particular video for being here from the last 45 minutes. I hope you all grab some knowledge regarding the iteration statements. As already you have some knowledge regarding iteration statements in the C programming language itself, but in Java, we have some changes in the syntax of programming. Not there is no change in the syntax of the while or do while or for loop. There is some changes in the Java programming, right? So I really thank once again all the listeners. In the next session, we'll meet you with the topic of break and continue. After the break and continue, we will see some other topics if we have time. And in the next session, I will explain some more programs, right? I will explain some more programs. After explaining those programs only, I will move to the next topic. First, I will start with break and continue in the next session. After completing the break and continue theory part and some examples on break and continue, I will do some examples again on while loop, for loop, and do while loop. Right, I request once again all to please practice each and every program of your own so that you will have some great knowledge on Java. And thank you very much once again.